Hi there, I'm Elizabeth from Living Vibrantly, and I am here today with my review of MBF and MBFA. It's Muscle Burns Fat and Muscle Burns Fat Advanced workout programs from Beachbody. Just to give you some context, I have been a Beachbody coach for almost 7 years now, so I've done all the programs that have come out during that time and most of the ones that came out before that too at this point. So just to give you a sense of the perspective that I am viewing it through, I love Beachbody workouts and I'm really comparing it to other Beachbody programs as opposed to coming at it from a different background. But I thought this program was really, really fun. There was a lot that was new and different, and I'll tell you about what some of that is and what makes it so fun. But first I want to say that it does what it set out to do. There should be a link with this video. You can go to my blog and see how it builds muscle and helps to shift your body composition by boosting your metabolism, and accomplishes that pretty quickly. MBF is a 3-week program. Then after that, MBFA is the next 3 weeks. So put together, it is 6 weeks. And, the one thing I want to say right off the bat is it was described as kind of MBF is the beginner version, MBFA is the advanced version. And they are really more similar, I think, in intensity level than, for example, 21 Day Fix and 21 Day Fix Extreme. There is a big jump between those two, right? If you've done both of them, you know. So 21 Day Fix is totally suitable for beginners, and it won't be frustrating for beginners. It's very accessible. Nice entry point where you're going to get a level of challenge, but you're not going to feel like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. MBF, on the other hand, I think, for all but the most hardcore exercisers, a beginner who's coming into that is going to feel like it's really hard. And yes, it's fun, but it's really hard. So it can be a little defeating, discouraging if you're coming into it and you're like, holy, I am so freaking sore and like I can't even keep up with half of this. That's not always a good feeling when you're just getting back into exercise. So what I will say is be sure to follow the modifier if you're truly a beginner coming into this program. You can still do it, but don't be comparing yourself to the mainstream unmodified moves. Come in with the intention of following the modifier, and then I think you'll be good. And then, moving on from MBF to MBFA wasn't that much of a step up. So if you have gone through MBF as a beginner, I think you should also do MBFA following the modifier. On the other hand, if you've gone through MBF unmodified, doing the mainstream mid-level moves, in that case, you're totally ready for MBFA. If you want to, you can go through MBF for another round, several rounds, whatever you want to do, but you really are ready. And in fact, in some ways, MBFA is a little, not to say it's less intense, because the workouts are longer and it's still, it's hard, it makes you really sore, but the difference between the two, the main difference is it's exactly the same format. Some of the moves change, some of the moves get more complex, but the main difference is adding to the format. MBFA adds in heavy lifting, simple strength training movements like sumo squats, like regular squats, like deadlifts, and you're doing just the simple movement for 1 minute at a time. So you can lift a lot heavier than if you're doing like a squat and then, you're pressing the same weight overhead, like as part of the same combo, right? So that heavy lifting, yes, it's challenging, but it also, it gives your heart rate a chance to slow down from high intensity cardio intervals. So there's more time in between the cardio intervals. And to me, someone who was fit coming into it, MBFA, to me felt a little bit easier. I just felt like I got more of a break. That was the biggest thing that was like new and different and challenging about MBF was there's like no breaks. Like you finish your lifting set and it's straight into a cardio interval. There's no like stopping and talking for long periods like you're going to find in between sets in like Body Beast, even like Hammer and Chisel. There's a lot of talking that goes on, and in some of Tony Horton's old programs, I love Tony, but you do those older programs and you understand why the sessions are so long. So, okay. So that's beginner versus advanced. And the other thing, Megan Davies, the trainer, I really love I love her training style in general, but I think she has a really good sense for what the average body needs for balance. So if you look at the balance between anterior and posterior core work, she's not working you to build up an imbalance. I'm going to say more about that later on and kind of what I supplemented this program with. But in general, Megan is way more in tune with that than I think some of the other trainers. And the dynamic recovery session, I noticed this even back in Clean Week, which was her first program. It's like just a 1-week program she did for Beachbody. Fun fact, she was on this reality show they had called The 20s, where they brought all these 20-something trainers into a house to pick the next Beachbody super trainer, and she was the winner of that show. But we got to know her a little bit back then. But that led to her filming Clean Week, which is a true beginner program, but also pretty challenging. Anyway, Clean Week has what became one of my favorite stretch and recovery sessions that I would go back to over and over. And it has a lot in common now with the dynamic recovery sessions that Megan filmed and created for MBF and MBFA. She has some favorite moves, but I found that it was really, really what my body needed to recover from this program. And I mean, that sounds kind of obvious, but it's not always that much in sync between, it kind of feels like some of the active recovery sessions feel like the trainer just like threw together a few stretches and it wasn't really thoughtful about, and this one is thoughtful about what does your body need to recover from, like what has gotten tight as a result of this particular program and how do we address that. So the dynamic recovery is really good. You can do that more than once a week if you want to. But it's another way that I think this program is just genius. Let's see. So, in terms of, okay. I just want to say this. Getting into MBF the first time, so it released during Coach Summit week. So I already had planned I'm going to do because they had live workouts for Summit. So I kind of planned I'm going to mix them in with MBF and I don't know, do a little hybrid something. Well, I did the first 2 days of MBF and I was so sore. I ended up taking actually 3 weeks to get through the first week. And it was because I was mixing it in with the Summit workouts, but it was also because it was so hard. If you really push yourself, it is hard. You can always back off, follow the modifier. The modifier is really well done. Because this program was filmed during the pandemic, the only person on set was Megan. Everyone else is working out from home. So they have a Zoom screen and you can actually see everyone working out in their home. And, they make someone's screen big to show the modifier and things like that. But it's a little different not having the cast together as a group, but in a way it's fun that they're working out at home just like we are with, pets around and you can just see their living room or wherever their space is that they're working out, their kitchen counter. So it's a different format, but I found it to be enjoyable. But anyway, so I did my first couple of days and I was so incredibly sore. And I could have just followed the modifier. I wanted to really go all in and push myself and do the unmodified moves, but then I kind of ran out of steam where I was like, I'm so sore. Like, I do not want to do this another day right now. I enjoyed it, but I wanted to wait and let my body recover so that I could like really get back into it. And again, like full speed ahead. So that was what I ended up doing, was like I stretched out the first week over 3 weeks. And then after that, did the final 2 weeks of MBF. And then moved on, went through MBFA, one day at a time, like on pace with how the program is supposed to be completed. What I will say though is Megan front loads the intensity at the beginning of the week. Monday is leg day. Then the next day, Tuesday, is core circuit, which is the other hardest workout. And so if you're super sore after the first couple days, know that it gets better. It's intense all the way through, but it's the most intense those first like Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday. So if you stick it out through the week, she's not going to be absolutely crushing you 6 days in a row. You can do it, in my opinion. But it's also okay if you want to take it a little slower, like I did. But I think I would have been okay if I had stuck it out. I later came to realize. And then the other thing that Megan says about the two programs and how they work together. So you do MBF, you do MBFA, and then instead of like continuing additional rounds of MBFA, it's designed to where you can then go back to MBF, then MBFA, and just kind of alternate. So that's a little different from the way some of the other programs have been presented or intended. So I just wanted to mention that, and that's definitely what I would do. Right now, I'm doing 8 weeks of bar blend, and I'll talk about why. But I do want to go back to this maybe right after, because there really are a lot of complex movements, complex combos, and some of them repeat, or it's like variations on a theme, but some of them don't come back, and some of them were really fun, and I want to go back and like try and get better at that. So one thing that's interesting about this program is it uses different combos. I mean, there's moves that rely on momentum, right? So where you're like taking your arms, swinging back, and then when you bring your arms up, you're engaging actually your glutes. So you bend the hips and then straighten. So contract and extend. I don't know if contract your hips is quite, there's a word that I'm missing right now. But so anyway, you're bending and then you're straightening up. But so you can lift heavier than if you just did a raise to the front holding weights, if that makes sense. So you're using momentum. Then there are other times when you are doing that raise, front raise, without getting the hips into it, and you are relying on the strength of your muscles, and you don't want to use momentum. So she really takes you through understanding how your body is moving in the different movements and what is contributing to the movement. And that was a fun element of it. It's not just like everything is kettlebell swings. Like sometimes it is that approach and sometimes it's the opposite. So in terms of really understanding where you're supposed to be moving from and what's supposed to be working, this program is kind of educational, I thought, in a really cool way. So I do have a desire to go back and do it one more time, all the way through all 6 weeks. And that is hopefully in the cards for later this fall. So like I said, Monday is leg day, but so any of the strength training sessions, it's going to be, there's like a lifting combo and then a cardio interval. And you do that basically 4 times through, and that's a workout. So Monday, lower body, Wednesday, upper body, Friday, total body, so it's combos with upper and lower combined. And then Tuesday and Thursday you have what's called core circuit. So that is there is a core circuit combining kind of crunch style, crunch variations, reverse crunch variations, plank variations, side plank variations. Every kind of core move that you can think of, working it from all angles. This program is amazing for that. And then in between, you have some cardio intervals, still with a core focus, like there would be like a twisting sledgehammer kind of move, standing core work, essentially, alternating with cardio jump rope. So there's, I call it the wireless jump rope. I should have brought it in here, but I'm connected. But it's just like a little, you're going through the motions of jumping rope, but it's weighted. So it's a little more like you can tell exactly when it would be turning under your feet, but it's less annoying to use on carpet. You could use a real jump rope too, if you want to. But the cordless, not wireless, cordless jump ropes come with your enrollment kit. So you could try them out, and they're included. And then the last day, okay. So then those two formats, so the strength or the core circuit, then when you get into MBFA, that's where they're called the Megan minute. She adds the heavy lifting. So at the end of each circuit in between, there's a Megan minute with a movement that's related to what you just completed, but, you know, a simple heavy lifting, boiling it down, making it simpler, and like just going heavy to burn the muscle out before you move on to the next muscle to burn out. Okay, and then the sixth workout of the week is, hold up, back up. So at the end of core circuit, there's an AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. And it's 4 minutes in MBF and 6 minutes in MBFA. And you go through a combo. It's just basically 4 different moves, and you have a certain number of reps of each one. And then when you get to the end, you start over, get through as many as you can in the allotted time. So with good form. So that's a caveat. And then you see your score increase through the course of the program. So get some AMRAP, trying to beat your own time, and then so that's in the core circuit, Tuesday, Thursday. Then on Saturday, you have, it's called Power Ignite. It's the EMOM, every minute on the minute format. So it's just 5 moves and 1 minute each. So you'll start at the top of the minute and go for like 40, 45 seconds. You have a certain number of reps. So you might finish in 30 seconds if you're moving fast, but some of them are harder too. Like some of them, the push-up variations, I never even got to the number of reps. By around like 40, 45 seconds, she calls you to stop and you rest and catch your breath until the top of the next minute. Do each one 5 times, 5 moves, 5 minutes each. 5 times through is 25 minutes. And that's the workout. And of course, there's a warm-up and cool-down with each one. Then for Sunday, you have the dynamic recovery that I already talked about. I've talked about what kinds of movements are involved. But there really were some fun, complex strength moves and combos that I had never done before. And that's saying a lot after 7 years of doing like every single workout that comes out. There are some things that are new and different and will be challenging in new ways. And it's a lot of, you know, functional fitness, like moving from a leg move to an upper body move, and mimics more like the kind of movement in everyday life, lifting and carrying things, rather than just I'm working my bicep and isolating my bicep right now. There is some of that in the Megan minutes, but that's not the main focus of the program. There are nutrition plans that go along with this, and that's one of the reasons to work with a coach, so that you can get a personalized recommendation and get the best results from the program based on your current goals, if that includes weight loss or not, and other things with your lifestyle, and likes and dislikes, of course. And let's see, what else about the nitty-gritty? What have I not said? It is not low impact. However, the modifier is low impact. So there is a lot of jumping in the program. The length. Before I get into the jumping, let me just back up for that. So the workouts are 30 to 45 minutes a day, most around like the 40-minute mark, and it is 6 days a week, but then you have stretching on the 7th day, or if you want like a complete rest day, you could put your stretch session, added on the back of Saturdays, since it's shorter. And then, so it's not low impact. The modifications, instead of jumping with your jump rope, you're stepping. You're still doing the arms, but you're step in, step out instead of jumping. And if you're doing the unmodified moves, I found, we all basically if you work out, most of us develop quad dominance where the front of your body is a lot stronger. And part of it is sitting and strong hip flexors too. And just the front body just gets strong and tight and pulls. And so I really started to feel it in my knees in this program. And I felt like by the end I was hovering on the edge of an injury. And it's not anything about this program. It's the fact, probably that I've been working out hard and not stretching enough. And we just all tend to become quad dominant, I think, just from what I've seen with my clients, with myself, and really need to work to combat that. So, I've been working on, in addition, like above and beyond, some stretching and essentially exercises from physical therapy to support healthy knees on top of this, which is why I'm not going straight through this program again, but just something to be aware of, that, additional stretching and what do I want to say? I had it in this. I'm looking at my blog post. It's my outline for this. Just balancing things out in your body. Exercises to bring balance so your joints are coming back to neutral instead of being pulled out of safe alignment. So that's another reason to work with a coach, because they can help you with that. So if you want to work with me as your coach, there's information along with this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll come back and respond. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.